So I'm here with Ross Quearney. He's going to be fighting at Cage Legacy this weekend against Elvis Luka. He's fighting since 2015. So he's here. He's an OG in the amateur game. How are you feeling for the fight coming up, and how does it feel to be so long in the game?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to this fight. This is going to be a good fight. Two good finishers. Maybe the two best finishers in the country at the minute, amateur level, coming head to head. So it's going to be a good fight for sure. And what was the second half of that question? Sorry.
I can't remember myself. How you look?
How
How
do I
long
feel
does it
being in
feel
it for
to
long?
be?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? It's mad. I've been only thinking about this like the past couple of weeks or whatever. Like all the sacrifice you make doing this sport or whatever. But at this stage, this is just my life at the minute. Like, you know what I mean? There is no sacrifice. There was a stage where there was sacrifices and I had to make conscious choices for things to sacrifice. But like all that's gone now, and this is just the way it is. This is the way my life is and has been for the past good few years. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and obviously that grows over time. And like, talk to us so for the normal average civilian person who's not a fighter, because there's only 1% of the population that actually competes in combat sports. At the start, what you have as a normal life now, but were sacrifice, what kind of sacrifice would it be make, like going out, seeing your family, food, stuff like that? What were the biggest sacrifices you felt at the time when you first joined combat sports?
At the time, back a while ago, like I would have been a lot of just not going out with your mates as much, not being able to eat the good food, missing out on whatever holidays, trips away, whatever it is, all the lads could be doing. You know what I mean? And eating good food, going out on the drink, loads like. But as you kind of get older, you realize like what's important more so. You know what I mean? But I want to build for my future, so like these sacrifices they have to be made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And with that, obviously, uh, once MMA is over and you retire, which is a long, long way away, there's different routes. Then you can go coaching. There's different things you can do. You could travel the world with it. Other sort of things. Whereas a lot of the stuff you named there, when you're young, that might seem important to you, but as you get older, you realize it's not really that important. Going out and going and drink.
Yeah.
We all like to go out and enjoy ourselves sometimes, but it doesn't really benefit you wholly. Whereas what you're doing is going to help, like you said, build your future. So,
That's it.
and like that, this
Even
like
saying that there, sorry, I remember on it was my 18th birthday, I was in the gym. My 19th birthday, I was in the gym. My 20th, but nearly all my birthdays, I've been up in the gym sparring like since 18. Like,
that just shows the level of dedication
yeah,
that you do. And also with that, you corner a lot of the lads as well when you go to shows, because I see you there quite frequently. What's it like,
yeah,
obviously, being on that side of things as well? How do you find that as a person? Like, because you are a fighter and obviously you've got your own career, but is that a
yeah.
fulfilling thing to do as well, to be in the corner for those fighters, to help guide these young fighters coming into your gym through these stages?
Definitely, yeah, and I think that's a big part of our gym anyway. Like the kind of community that we have in the gym, like we all look out for each other. And you know, like I'm someone that's been there and done it before, so of course I'm gonna hop in and help one of the lads and talk them through what they're feeling. You know what I mean? I know exactly how it feels to go through all this shit, like, and like on a fight day. I mean, like, you know what I mean? So like, just keeping them in check or whatever. Like, I know kind of know the things to say. I know how to make someone like feel good about themselves, and like especially when you're training with them every day. Like, you know what I mean? And we're all so close. We know each other so well. We know how to work each other and how to get each other up on a high. Like, you know what I mean? And coaching wise as well, like I love coaching. I feel like it helps you even with your own game because like it's hard to explain nearly, but like you're almost looking at it all from a completely different perspective then. And then when it's your turn to fight, you can carry them things over on how things looked because things look a lot different outside the cage than they do inside the cage. Inside the cage, it's mad, and you might think someone's super strong and super fast, but once you're sitting outside the cage coaching someone, you kind of see how like these people aren't that fast, and you can see these little things, like you know what I mean. Like so, like I like sitting on that side of the cage as well, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, like that. You've done it for a lot. You've got a lot of youngsters coming up too. I'm going to just touch on Cmac for a minute because it is one of my favorite gyms. I think it's one of the. I don't want to say. I don't want it to sound disrespectful when I say small gym, but it is a smaller gym than when you've got your likes
yeah, I
of
know we are. Yeah,
SPGs, FIs, and I've been in your facility and it isn't a massive one. But that just goes to
yeah,
show you don't need all the wheels and whistles and bells. You just need good coaches, dedication, and hard work because you're
yeah.
producing some amount of talent there.
That's it, yeah. And like anyone that's ever been in our gym in Cmac has been from like the local area, has been from Blanchardstown. You know what I mean? We don't have anyone coming up from different counties in Ireland. Never mind other countries coming over to train with us. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone that's in Cmac is a local lad and has been there for a good while, and we all push each other on to do great things. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's why it kind of stands out a little bit. Like,
Yeah, and it looks like over the next year it's going to be quite exciting. Obviously, there's yourself, Jordan Bradshaw, and Keith Keogh, who would be kind of the senior amateurs in the gym. Keith's already announced his going
yeah.
pro. I wouldn't say you and Jordan be far behind him. Obviously, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But I think you want a couple more fights at amateur. Is that the plan? Are you looking at pro soon, or do you want to just keep going amateur on
Uh,
you ready?
I'd be looking to transition to go pro next year. Definitely. I've had like a long amateur career. Well, when I say long, it's been a long career, but there's a lot of miles on me. You know what I mean? I've no damage taken in enemy fights, so I always come out of a fight safe. Um, and like earlier on, I was saying that I took a bit of a break. So when I first started fighting, I was only fighting for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and then I took 3 years out, which turned into 5 years after COVID, because all the shows were shut down and all. So I lost out on a lot of time competing wise there. But I was always training, always in the gym. And then since I think it came up as a memory today on Facebook, 2 years ago I had fought Gary Rooney. That was my first fight back at amateur. So I've been back competing amateur the last 2 years. So I'd be looking to transition to go to pro next year, to be honest, really, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I want a fight to come back to as well after such a long spell out. Gary Rooney, I remember being at that
Yeah.
show. But with COVID, you talked about COVID obviously prolonged the competing. When that happened, did that have any effect on you wanting to come back to compete? Because obviously you hadn't competed, but then that was restricting you competing. Did that think, right, if we come out of this crazy situation we're in and we can fight again, did you think, right, I'm gonna go for it now because it was kind of withheld from you potentially when you wanted to come back after the 3 years?
Absolutely. And I think the whole gym felt that way. Everybody was raring to go as soon as the shows were announced back. We've been actually like we've been non-stop since COVID happened, like, you know what I mean? As soon as it came back, because it gave you that gratitude for what it is that you do, you know what I mean? You know that it can, like, seeing that it can be taken away at any moment like that, just being shut down, everything. And like it's gonna happen again soon. Like there is gonna come a day where we're all told, yeah, you can't fight anymore or whatever. Like, so it was kind of like a taster for that, nearly, to give you that gratitude to just chase it now, and while it's here, while it's now, get after it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, we can.
and you most definitely have, because you've been very, very active. One of the things I want to talk to you about was the Four Nations. The team that went out there, I think everyone came back with gold except for, I believe, Sinead. And Sinead had potentially to fight tonight with Chanel Dyer, who you see
Yeah, yeah.
what she's doing at pro, spinning elbows, knocking people out. So there's no shame in Sinead losing to her. But that was a fantastic team that went out. Talk to us about your performance and involvement in all, because that, like, you really, really excelled in that. Like, you got the finishes. You really, really excelled. How did you feel going into that? And how did you feel? Because you like the international tournaments a bit more than the regional. I've noticed you always want to kind of compete in them. How did you feel
Yeah,
representing the country again? And how did you feel in the tournament? And how do you feel you done overall?
yeah, yeah. No, it was great. I love getting out to represent the country. It's just a shame that it's not recognised as a sport by the country. You know what I mean? I was listening on the radio there the other day, and there's a tug of war Ireland. Did you know tug of war uh, a recognised sport in Ireland that they get grants for, and they have all this funding? You know what I mean? But like that just it spurs us on even more to know that we're doing all this for nothing. We're doing it for ourselves. You know what I mean? There's no one patting us on the back here. It's like we know ourselves what career choice we want, and like so that's all preparation for that. So like I love to represent the country, but I wish we'd be recognised for it. Um, and then the second part of that question, I felt great going over. You know, that was a great team going over. The dream team going over in Liverpool. We had it was me, Jordan, Keith, Mohammed made his MMA debut over there. I think he had two knockout. Well, he knocked someone down. He had two knockouts. He was bleeding deadly. Solomon was over there. I think they might have been his last amateur fights before he went pro. He did very well as well. And yeah, as you said, yeah, everybody medalled except Sinead. But Sinead had a great fight against Chanel Dwyer, and she fought brilliantly. To be fair, we were really really surprised by her, and it was a great fight, yeah. And like I feel more focused when I'm away. when I'm abroad to represent the country or whatever. I don't know what it is. So I just feel a lot more focused, and I noticed that I have performed better when I'm abroad and when I'm away, and when I really zone in on that focus of just performing with no distractions.
Yeah, I've actually had a fighter. It's funny you bring that up. I had a fighter say to me recently, like that, when they go away to these fights, not that there's pressure on you when you're fighting at home, but you've got the issues of tickets, you've got all this, you've got all that. Whereas once you kind of get away the week before, the couple of days before, you kind of fully dial in. Would that be the case?
That's it. Yeah,
Uh,
100%. That's the case. Like that is it. Like you've no distractions. You're only in that country for one reason, and it's to go fight and to go win. You know what I mean? You're not there to go eat good food. You're not there to be doing whatever you could be doing here, whatever distractions are here. You know what I mean? You'll have none of that. You're only there for one mission, and you're with your team, and they all have the same mission as well. So it's some boys getting abroad to represent.
Yeah, I'd say it is. I've seen obviously they're going away. There's a lot like the Four Nations was a good idea. They were talking about the four provinces this year. That didn't happen. But in terms of the IMF, like I wanted to touch on what you said about being recognised because I think, like I said, a tug of war. That's a bit of rope and a couple of rugby lads pulling a fucking rope in a
Yeah,
fucking field. That's all that
yeah,
is. You look at what obviously with the Greyhound scandal like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe it was more, and then
yeah,
they're still getting funding. If these people actually came in and spent a week, 2 weeks with the people like he and see what he did, because I've never come across, I've been in different circles, whether it be GA, soccer, whatever. MMA, I've never felt more welcome. I've never felt more accepted for who I am, Joe, and the way
yeah,
I go on or how I present myself. There's no kind of, you will always get one dickhead in a gym or one dickhead in a
yeah.
community. That's just the way it is. But overall, you're the most humble, nicest, welcome people in the world, I feel. And they think the sport is I think it's because they think it's violent. I think it's
Yeah,
more safe than boxing overall because you're not getting continuously punched in the head over and over. The ref is there to stop it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think if they spend a week with you or a fight or something, they might change their tune. Hopefully, we're getting closer to that stage. So I believe, but at the moment we can only deal with what we have. But moving on to the fight,
I'm
Elvis.
sorry, I'll just touch on that as well there. Over in the World Championships there, the youths in the World Championships were, I think, fourth on the medal table out of the whole world for like how many medals they brought home. And all these countries that we compete against are funded. We have like some of the Saudi countries that are heavily funded. But the Russians, like a lot, even Estonia and all, a lot of these countries have a national MMA training camp that'll be government funded, and the whole team will be out, paid a salary, paid like given all your meals, given everything to succeed. You know what I mean? And then we have the Ireland team going over with ham sambos. You know what I mean? Making weight, like no funding, just there for a dream, really, just chasing a dream. And to see how well they do every single time just shows kind of how good the talent on this little island is. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And like that, you said you're funding yourselves. That like when it comes up, I don't know how many times I get tagged in GoFundMe to try and help fund them. I'll share all of them. I can't donate to all of them because there's so many of
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
But it's mad that, or like people might have to get loans. Franz Malambo told me he had to get a loan. His girlfriend at the time had to get money, send it over to him when he was in Vegas to actually compete and stuff like that. It's mental.
yeah. No, well, I believe it.
The kids, like you said,
Yeah, it's
I've
heavy.
noticed that like that they're bringing home medals to beat the band every time they go away under Danny McCormick
Yeah,
and Alan McCormick, who obviously are doing a fantastic job. You're in the gym. What do you see of these levels coming up now? Like when you look at where you were at that stage compared to now, because obviously it's more known now, it's more technical. Like when you look at
yeah,
them at their age now compared to you going like, fuck me, these are coming up fast.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, I was on Instagram earlier and I seen some kid over in England and he has like 9,000 followers and he's like, I think he's only like 7 or 8 years of age and his technique's good. He has a good wrestling technique, good. So like, yeah, it just makes me wish I started training as soon as I was born. Nearly, you know what I mean? That's the way it's going.
Yeah, but obviously they're starting younger. I think what we're seeing now is kind of the fruits you were fighting, obviously, before he actually really, really hit it. But Conor McGregor, I think we're really
Yeah,
seeing the
yeah,
fruits of his labor because as many people want to say maybe it wasn't him to start, I think the kind of boom did start through him. And this is kind of we're getting the fighters coming through now. But the fight this weekend, Cage Legacy is always a crazy show. It's always a great show. You're in, like I said, two finishers, two. This is going to be a potentially crazy, hectic fight. How are you looking forward to the fight? Because I really, really like this fight on paper.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna suit the show. The show is gonna be mad, and this fight is gonna be mad. You know what I mean? There's gonna be some buzz, and I'd say our fight could probably be the loudest that cage legacy will get that night.
And then I seen Declan said whoever like the winner of this potentially will go for the bantamweight or will go for potentially go for a title shot. Is that something you'd be interested? Is because it's in
Keep the title. Keep the title. I'll tell you what I want. If I beat Elvis Luka, I want his spot on the cage legacy game.
so that's what you want up for grabs. You want to be on the game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
This is
I
like
want to be immortalized. I want to be immortalized on the App Store. Yeah.
this is like the real UFC. You know, whenever was it when it came down to Aldo and McGregor, and it's coming to other fighters, isn't it? Whoever wins is on the
Yeah,
cover of the
yeah.
game. You want to be in the game, so we're gonna put. I'm
That's it. Yeah.
actually gonna put that out as a clip, and we're gonna
Yeah,
share
yeah, yeah.
it. But I actually seen you at the PFL the other day, and you were actually sitting with him. Talk to us about the respect factor in MMA.
Yeah, I was working at PFL there the other night. Derek Hickey got on to me and asked me. I've done some official work before for Rima, so I think maybe they were down a lad, and Derek Hickey texted me and gave me an opportunity to go in as an inspector for the commission. So that was amazing. You know what I mean? I got to see that whole show backstage, in and out the works of it. You know what I mean? I was really impressed with PFL. It was probably one of the best shows I've seen put on in the Tree Arena for MMA ever. And that's going back to like between Bama, Cage Warriors, Bellator, all of them. That PFL there on Saturday night was the best show I've ever been to in the Trade Arena. And yeah, I was just floating through the crowd. I was walking through looking for Keith and Jordo. They were in the crowd there somewhere. And I just heard a few roars calling me name or whatever. And I turned around and it was Deco sitting there. And then I went over and just shook Deco's hand or whatever. I said, "What's the story?" And then I just caught behind him. Elvis was sitting there as well. So of course, obviously went over and just said, how you doing? How you feeling? You looking forward to next week and all or whatever. I think this island's too small to be a shy bag on the domestic level. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, so like I said, even there, like you could have fucking enemies, and then at the end of the year, you're going away and you're on the same team together, competing at fucking the world championships. You know what I mean? So like at the end of the day, I feel everyone on this island's on the same team. You know what I mean? Like the world's way too big to just make enemies here and have your whole career here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like, and I like how you put that as well. We're a small island. You talked about the talent we produce, and
yeah,
we all don't. Sorry, you all don't want to be just the best in Ireland. You want to be the best in the world, and the only way to do that is through like that, fighting each other, potentially cross training with each other, and just having respect
yeah,
for each other. You would be the same as me. Like anyone that does media, I'd love to see them succeed from Ireland. I don't care who they are if we don't get on personally, because it just opens up more opportunities. And
that's it, yeah.
that's the attitude you've taken, and that seems like a team through the gym. It seems to be a team through a lot of the country though as well, because
Yeah,
those feels like us against the world, a small little island, and we always go out and we always go out and do exceptionally well in sport,
yeah,
in combat sports.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all sport, not even just fighting, all sport. Like we do it very well.
Yeah, so it's going to be a crazy show next week. Once I want to thank you very much for your time, because I know obviously it's fight week. There's a lot going on, but I want to thank you very much for your time. I'm going to let you go. Is there anything you want to say or anyone you want to shout out before we go?
Not specifically. I'd just like to shout out all the lads in the gym. You know what I mean, putting in all the work all year, and I think my fight will be the last fight for Cmac for the 2023 year. We have Nick Rebrano on the same card as well, so it'll be Nick and me closing out the year for Cmac. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very active year for the gym. Another successful year. You seem to be just building on. Every time I go to a show, there's another one. I think it was Rory Murphy was at a show. Was it? Is it Rory Murphy?
Yeah, yeah.
Had a
El
good.
Mark O'Neill, yeah.
Then you like obviously Nick has come through, and like you can see there's Jake and Guy, there's Leka. Like I just want to
Yeah,
say you look what you're doing in that gym is fantastic, and it comes through obviously from Alex and Debs, and then the likes of you, Jordan, and Keith would kind of be the senior. So you're all
yeah,
doing
yeah.
a fantastic job there, and I can't wait to see you fight in person again, because I don't get to see it that often.
Yeah, will you be there? Will you be there Saturday? Yeah.
Yes, I think I won't be covering it, but I might be going and having a few beverages in the crowd and
Lovely, lovely.
enjoying it
Yeah, enjoy it.
and to see out the year. So but if I don't know, I might end up changing my mind when I'm there. I might just end up doing what I usually do, getting into the
Yeah,
cage. But
yeah, yeah.
thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you either on the day or after, or maybe just before. So thank
Yeah,
you.
sweet. No hassle. Yeah. Cheers, Dave.
Perfect. Thank you.